Paula Williams.
This is John Williams.
And we are ABCI, and ABCI's mission is
to help all you folks out there in the aviation world sell more of your products and services.
Absolutely. So today we're talking about our strategic marketing and sales planning for 2021 workshop.
Okay.
We've actually taken a lot of the things that we do in our consulting practice and a lot of the resources that we have developed over the years of working with aviation companies and put them into a done with you workshop. So a lot of these are templates and other things, but we'll talk about that in just a minute. First of all, we're going to talk about the importance of planning and why we need to do this, right? So most of the time when we work with aviation companies that are having trouble with their sales or marketing, it is not necessarily because their marketing stinks or because people aren't doing their jobs or anything else. It is just that things are not getting done because of one catastrophe after another, right? Especially in 2021 or 2020, right?
Right.
And things get off track, and this happens to us as well. We have our own marketing, and we also have clients who take precedence. And, when a client's having an issue or a problem, then everything else goes on the back burner, and we take care of a client's problem. And that is the way it should be.
Okay.
But we need to have those plans and things like that in place so that we can come back to that, not lose a step, or not lose too many steps in terms of getting back to our marketing and getting things back on track. And the way that we do that is by putting in the big rocks first, thinking in terms of timelines so that we know what needs to happen first, second, third, and so on, so that we're not just doing random acts of marketing whenever we have time. Things are actually in an organized sort of a plan. We need to think about what could possibly go wrong and how to get back to the plan. And the workshop is really about how we do that and how a lot of our clients have been successful in making that happen.
Yeah, it's just like when you build a PowerPoint presentation, you always have you have extra slides that you don't want to use, but they're there if you need them.
Right.
Part of the planning process.
Right. Somebody's going to ask you a question that you would just as soon not include in that presentation, but if it comes up, you're prepared for it.
Exactly. Same way with the plan.
Was it Douglas MacArthur that said, plans are useless, but the process of planning is indispensable?
There are a lot of guys that have said that. I don't know if he did.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Eisenhower did, and I'm pretty sure Patton did.
Yeah. Those military guys were big on planning, and for good reason. So, you've probably seen some version of this. This is one that I saw first at Franklin Covey. Actually, it was Stephen Covey that did this in a course that I was in. He took 2 mason jars and an equal amount, and he had these set up so that you could see that it was an equal amount of material in each of these equal-sized mason jars. And there are big rocks, there are pebbles, and there is sand. So in one of them, he put all the sand in first, and then the pebbles on top of that, and the big rocks on top of that, and it overflowed the jar. There was just no way to get it all in. In the other jar, he put the big rocks in first, and as you can imagine, if you're just listening to this, if you can't see the picture, the big rocks go in first. You shake it around a little bit. You put the pebbles in next. Shake it around.
The sand. And it all fits.
And it all fits because the pebbles slide into the smaller spaces that the big rocks leave, and then the sand slides into the spaces that everything leaves.
Plans work pretty much the same way. Right.
You want to put in the big rocks first, and that's why our planning process involves that. So what are some of the big rocks in your plan? One of them might be a referral campaign on Valentine's Day. That's one of the more successful campaigns that we run every year. Is, we go to our existing clients and we ask them for referrals, and we have a set of mailed materials and other things to make this kind of fun. We do candy, we do, things like that to make that fun for them and make them remember to give us referrals, because a lot of times they're busy too and they just don't remember. No matter how much they love your product or service, they may not think of that unless you give them a reason to. The problem is this campaign is pretty labor intensive because we want it to be super sincere and We want to assemble these boxes by hand, make sure they're all perfect, because these are our best customers, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. And that kind of attention takes time, and doing that kind of a campaign makes it a big rock that needs to go on the calendar first so that it doesn't get crowded out by all the other crazy things that could happen between now and February. Mm-hmm. Okay. Another big rock, we just found out this morning that HAI is going to actually have an in-person event in New Orleans this year.
Yep, and they're going to mitigate it with all kinds of stuff, so when you go there. But they're going to have it. They've already got exhibitors lined up. Mm-hmm. An approach that I think the previous organization should have considered.
Right. And, so we're definitely going, or at least John is definitely going, being a helicopter guy and being an in-person event for the first time in a while. Mm-hmm. So that's a big deal to plan around. It's a couple of days. It's a trip. There's lots of reasons that takes a lot of time and energy to prepare for.
Yep.
NBAA will be having, as far as we know, their convention, their big convention of the year in October in Las Vegas. So that's right in our backyard, one of our favorite places to go for conventions. So that's another big rock that we need to plan around, send invitations, set up appointments, do all those things to make it really worth the time and energy and effort and expense of going.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So we talked about thinking in terms of timelines. A lot of these trade shows and other things we want to have a reasonable timeline for. So we need to think backwards from the event and go, okay, so let's do some direct mail packages. We want to send somebody a package saying, you need to come see us for these reasons, and we want to get their attention. So we're going to send them a package rather than just a postcard or something like that. That takes time and money, right? We want to do a blog post about the fact that we're going to be there, and here's what we're going to be talking about. We want to do a social media campaign, and we also want to do personal phone calls. So we start doing the phone calls. So, and the way we did this outline, just as an example, let's say we start sending direct mail packages on January 6th. We do a blog post a couple of days later on January 8th, so people have already gotten their package in the mail, or they're starting to get their packages in the mail. They see this come up on our blog post. They start seeing social media the next day, and then they get a phone call from us. Chances are they've heard of us,
right?
In one of those formats, hopefully more than one, and that timeline just makes sense because phone calls are the most time-consuming thing that we do on this timeline. We want to make those phone calls really worth it. So if we back up from that and do the planning,
right,
there we have it, right?
Yep.
Okay. I love this picture. If you're not seeing this, I'm not sure how they came up with this. I'm sure there's a story behind it, but this is a bicycle that is missing a front wheel, and the front fork is going into a hole.
Actually, that's not missing a front wheel. It's turned 90 degrees. See the handlebars?
Oh, okay. That's what happened. Okay. Anyway, and the dude is flying off of the bicycle.
Right.
So anyway, at least he's wearing a helmet. But the point being, there's a lot of things that could go wrong, and we learned that from 2020, if we learned anything.
Yeah, if it could go wrong, it did.
Mm-hmm. But if you have a plan, you always have a place to depart from and a place to come back to. So it's like when you're hiking and you get off the path, if you know where the path is, you can always get back on it if you decide to take a side trip, or you need to go around for whatever reason. There's a moose on the trail. You don't want to bother the moose. You need to, go around a little bit, but you do need to know where the trail is so you can get back to where you were going. And you don't just throw your goals and objectives out the window because something happened, right?
Nope. You modify.
Right. Absolutely. Okay. So what's in our workshop? Well, the physical things that you get with this workshop, we start with that, and then we'll talk about what's in the course, and we'll actually dive in and give you a tour. But the first thing is, this is a 12-month digital marketing planner by Brandon Brashear, and it has some places to track your keywords, your hashtags, your social media objectives, other kinds of things, so that you know what your trail is, you know what your goal is and how you can reach your most ideal potential customers using those things, and a place to keep your research. Because what we found with a lot of people is they will do the research and then it goes in a folder somewhere and they never look at it again. And it's almost like they never got any benefit from having spent those hours doing that research.
Right.
So, you do a 12-month digital marketing plan in a book. The book is on your desk. You know where it is. You refer to it monthly. Put your numbers in. It all works. This is our book. Actually, John and I wrote this, right?
You wrote it. I edited.
We actually both wrote a lot of it because it's transcripts of our podcast.
Yeah, that's
some
true.
of it. But this is what we've learned about doing social media consulting for aviation professionals over the years. And there's a lot in there, but it's also very helpful for your planning for next year. So we include that with the workshop. We include a wall calendar, and this will be a 2021 wall calendar, not a 2020 like the one pictured, but we don't have ours back from the printer yet. So you'll get a shiny new calendar. And then there's a bunch of downloads that you can use in Excel. And these are really helpful. Whether or not you're using a CRM, it's kind of helpful to do the planning outside the CRM, because what we found with people that use Zoho or Salesforce or Infusionsoft or HubSpot or anything like that is they kind of let the tool drag them by the nose. And the tool isn't necessarily set up for your business. So what you need to do is set your goals and objectives and things like that somewhere outside of that tool, and then you can get the tool to work for you instead of against you once you figure out what those goals are. Right?
Exactly.
Okay. And also it's completely platform independent, so it doesn't matter what CRM you're using, or even if you're not using a CRM. We've got some of our low volume, high ticket people that don't need a CRM because they only have 10 people to keep track of at a time, right?
Right.
Yeah. So spreadsheets are also included in there. So every one of the workshops that we're doing includes 3 components, skills, tools, and networking. And the intention really is to make it so that you're never inventing the wheel. You're never all by your lonesome. Somebody has tried to do this before, and someone has run into it. There's just about any problem you could run into before.
That would be reinventing the wheel.
Right. Exactly. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
Someone's already done it.
Right.
Okay.
I'm just saying that you use the word without the re in front of it.
You do not need to invent the wheel. Someone's already done it, so it would be reinventing the wheel.
That's exactly right.
Okay. Thank you for that semantics lesson. All right. So anyway, we love having you in our workshop. It includes a lot of these resources, and it also includes some time from us to work out the strategy with you. So, basically you take a stab at all of these things. You get an hour of our time to go over anything that you run into a snag with or that you'd like some advice on. So you get all of those things. You also get into our forum where you can interact with other people who are doing the same thing. Our other clients are fantastic at being warm and supportive, and sometimes not so warm and supportive, very truthful, and all of those things. And they'll tell you, if they tried something, it didn't work, here's a better way. They're very helpful with those kinds of things. Right?
Yes, they are. Mm-hmm. And they'll shoot straight for you.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's go do a tour of the workshop. Okay, so here we are on the page for our strategy planning and budget workshop. And you'll see that the price is $579, and you have access to this course all the way through the year, through January 1st of 2022. So you'll be able to use any of this material, anything that you generate. You'll be able to use the forum, ask us questions, any of that stuff all the way through the year. So that's really what it's intended for, is to make sure that, you're doing your planning, hopefully this month, and then you're revising and completing and marking done and all of those things, all of the things that you do through the course of the year. So just to give you a real quick overview, each one of our courses has a homepage. You can see the course description, outline, and student reviews. This is a brand new course, so there's no reviews yet. And you'll also have an outline down here on the right-hand side of the screen. So you can see the lessons here. You can open all, close all, but or you can just open them by category. And then down here, you've got a timeline. So, I'm going to be sharing some things. You'll be able to see other people that are working on similar things and ask questions and things like that in the forum. So it's almost like your own little social media in here that you can see only the people that are our clients and who are in this particular set of courses. Okay, so I'm going to open onboarding. We've got how to use this course, how to customize your profile, and then people will be able to see you. That's one of the nice things about this is the networking, being able to get to know some other folks in the group and things. So you can customize your profile. This also adds another backlink to your website if you're concerned about SEO or you want more traffic to your social media. These are great people to get to know. We will need your postal address because we're going to be sending you your calendar and 2 books. So those things come in the mail. We'll need that as well. And download the toolkit. So this is where you would download the Excel spreadsheets and things like that. Under strategy, we've got a section for your vision, your product or service, your 10 most wanted customers and how to select that group, how to put them on the list, and your annual goals. So all of that is very important before you get started. When we get into the nitty gritty of your monthly plan, we're going to talk about your sales process and any changes you want to make to it this year, given what you've learned last year and things like that. We're going to talk about what's worked for other aviation companies and things like that. Your weekly metrics, client tracking, monthly return on investment for your advertising. A lot of people don't have a good handle on that, but we've got a great spreadsheet that we've been working with clients. They're finding it very helpful. Daily habits, things that you need to be doing daily or weekly. You can adapt all of these things to your rhythm and to your company's needs. And then marketing content to create some ideas of things that are getting the best return on investment for marketing materials. Next section is budget. And you can skip around in here, or if you have, different things that you need at different times. If you need the budget to start with, you need to turn this into your boss on Monday. You'll want to start with the budget worksheet, and then you can always revise it later after you go through the rest of the units. These don't have prerequisites or anything on there. You don't have to complete anything first in order to get to something else. And then planning for changes, what could go wrong, how to get back on track. And this is one of our most valuable lessons, is 5 ways to reduce expenses to manage your cash flow. This has kept us afloat sometimes when things have gone unexpectedly. We've had unexpected expenses or other things that we needed to deal with. So that's what's in the course. Once again, the $579, if you think about how long it would take you to do all of these things from scratch and how much it is worth for you to get these done in a way that is going to work, that you feel really good about handing in to your boss or your board or your committee or anyone, and you feel really good about the fact that this is actually going to work because it works for other aviation companies in the real world. So this is not for real estate. This is not for selling cars. This is not, anything else that you might find at Barnes & Noble or online. So we hope you'll join us, and we hope that you will share your insights and things like that and really participate, because that's what makes this a better course is the people in it. So thanks for joining us for our little tour, and now back to our regularly scheduled program. Okay, now we're back.
Okay.
Thank you for joining us, and we will see you next week.
Stay safe and healthy.